one coin and on two sides of it. On one side of it, we've got parents who simply can't pay anymore. Childcare now costs more than college in most states in our country. And we don't have Pell Grant programs. We don't have early warning systems like start saving for preschool now. You're 16 years old. We don't have any of that kind of conversation going on in our culture. So parents absolutely are cash strapped when they're having kids and trying to put them into childcare. On the other side, we have childcare workers who on average are making about $19,000 a year. They have high turnover, not surprisingly, and also we can't pay them any less. Like we're between a rock and a hard place. So we come back to, we need to make bold investments in early learning. And what do those bold investments mean? What does that mean to our greater economic structure? Well, fortunately, the return on investment in early learning and childcare is astronomically high. It's not only high because we're allowing and enabling parents to work, and it's not only high because we're enabling kids to have high quality access to early education. It's high because we found that, for example, for every $1 that we put into early learning, taxpayers later get back $7. Why are we getting back that $7? We're getting back that $7 because there are lower grade repetitions in later years. There's less interaction with the criminal justice system in later years. And in later years, there's less reliance on longer-term government entitlement programs for those families and for those children. So this is a significant ROI, return on investment, as we like to call it, as everybody in this room likes to call it. But it's something that state legislators and national legislators are starting to understand, that the return on investment in early learning and in childcare for taxpayers, regardless if you care about kids or not, is tremendous, right? The math is with us on this one. Now, the other issue of the math, though, is the issue of the current state of sexism and discrimination against women in the workforce in America. I'll just put it on the table. And that is that women are facing a maternal wall. So what does the maternal wall look like? This is another thing that people don't tell you about, before you have kids. So you're going along, haven't had kids yet, have kids, wham, the wall comes up. And what is it? Women without children make about 90 cents to a man's dollar. Women with children make about 73 cents to a man's dollar. Single moms, of which 41% of moms now are single moms, make only 60 cents to a man's dollar, and women of color have increased wage hits on top of that. So we're having babies again off a cliff in America, and babies are the economic engine of our future. And so what does that mean in terms of a systems approach, which was part of this question? Well, what that means is that we are behind in a whole system. When we have a baby in the United States of America, we don't have access to paid family and medical leave, which is just a little bit of bridge time to be able to recover from giving birth to your child, to bond, establish breastfeeding, and more. We don't have that. So parents are ending up leaving work sometimes because they don't have that time. And then the high cost of infant child care is a 1-2 punch, because now you're out of the labor force, not making money, and then you have to make that huge investment in infant child care. You can see quite quickly how we end up with a quarter of young families living in poverty, and how we end up with people struggling to get back on track at that point in their lives, and how we end up with these wage gaps. Now, in closing, the good news is that there are solutions. So studies from other countries show that when family economic security policies are in place, like access to excellent, affordable childcare, like access to paid family leave, like access to earned sick days, which, by the way, 80% of low-wage workers don't have, that the wage gap between moms and non-moms and the wage gap between women and men actually narrows. It's a win-win-win-win, because we can raise all boats, help taxpayers, help businesses, help parents, and our national economy by passing policies like this one. And Moms Rising members are out there fighting every day for it, and we stand behind them as we bring voices forward to say, hey, let's have a little wake-up call about what's going on in America. This is a big deal, not just for kids, but for our whole economy.